Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California podcast. My name is Leslie, I'm a knitter in Southern California, and this is episode 25 of my 2024 podcast series. Today is Sunday, July 28th as I'm filming this, and I'm so excited to be back with you for a new episode. We have a finished object to discuss. I have one brand new cast on and one sort of new cast on, and an update to what is coming next on my needles, as well as an update on the California sweater test knit. So, actually, I want to start today with the update on the California sweater test knit. So the test knitting process is going very well. I'm really happy with the way it's going. We have already had one new version of the pattern be sent out this weekend with some updates, and I think that's a sign of, like, you know, the testers are really getting through the pattern, or at least reading through it. And, you know, it's my first garment pattern, so we're getting it all figured out as we go along. The major update that really I have is the yarn that I'm going to be using for my second sample. So I showed this to you last week. This is the Knitting for Olive merino in the colorway soft blue, and I had plans to pair it with the Lang Lace mohair in the color teal morning. Well, I swatched this, and the reason why I love this mohair so much is because it's a 58% Super Kid mohair and a 42% silk. If you think about a lot of the mohairs, like a lot of the other mohairs that we use typically, they do not have this high of a silk content. 42% silk is a lot. And what that means for this is that there's more silk, less mohair content in this, so there's less fuzzy bits that's really what the mohair is that are coming off of this. And because of that, when I swatched this combo, there just wasn't enough fluff to like fill out the open gauge that the pattern is meant to have, and I really didn't like the look that I was getting. So I have decided to scrap the Lang Lace mohair. It's not going to be used anymore, and I've just ordered some Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair that I will pair with the Knitting for Olive merino, and that is going to be my second sample. I'm still waiting for that to arrive, which is fine. We've still got, you know, plenty of time for me to knit up my second sample. It is interesting to see like how far along a lot of the testers are. I know there are some testers who still have not cast on either, so again, totally fine, and I know we're gonna make it by the 8-week deadline. So just wanted to give you that update there. And okay, let's move on and talk about my finished object, the poppy tee. So I finished the Poppy Tee by Petite Knit, and the yarn that I used for this is the Kelbourne Woolens Mojave. This is a 60% cotton, 40% linen yarn, and the colorway is called Mauve, a nice dusty purple that I think looks really nice on me. This is a great soft summer color palette color, so I'm really happy with not only the yarn, the color, but also just the finished object in general. Okay, let me give you the details on this pattern, the yarn, and my finished object. So, I knit the size extra large, which is the 5th size in the pattern. This size is meant to fit a 39.5 inch to 43.25 inch bust for about 2 inches of positive ease. So the final circumference is meant to have 45.25 inches. If I look at my finished measurements after blocking, I'm at 45.5 inches. So I'm a 1/4 inch larger, but to me, like, I'm right there. I've got 3 inches of, oh no, I've got 2.5 inches of positive ease on this, and I think that's perfect. Like, I am totally happy with the fit of this. The pattern recommends using a 3.5 millimeter needle. I went up to a 4 millimeter needle. Typically with petite knit patterns, I have to go up, you know, that half a needle size, half a millimeter needle size to a full millimeter needle size, depending on the pattern. So this is normal for me. So I used the 4 millimeter needles for the body knitting and 3.5 millimeter needles for the ribbing on the collar, the bottom hem, and the sleeve cuffs. The pattern gauge is 23 stitches by 32 rows. Unblocked, I was at 24 stitches by 34 rows. So close, but not 100%. After blocking, I'm at 23 stitches, so that matches perfectly stitch gauge, and I'm at 33 rows, which is 1 additional row compared to row gauge. I don't notice any like fit issues with like the yoke depth or anything being too short, so I'm totally fine. I feel like I did pretty good with my gauge here on this one, which is always really great. As I was knitting this up and like doing, you know, mid knit try-ons, I just kept telling myself and kept thinking like, this fits so well, this fits so well. And the construction of this is a little bit different. The way that the, you know, shoulders and the yoke is constructed is a little bit different than what I'm used to. This is, I think we determined, it's called a full fashioned or a full European, a full fashion shoulder or a European shoulder. But basically you start knitting on the back panel here, and then you pick up for the shoulders about this much, and then you start knitting back and forth, but you pick up stitches along the shoulder edge that you just picked up. So you just knit this, and then you pick up here, and you're knitting this way along the shoulders, across the back, and then across the other shoulder on the other side, and it's creating this sleeve cap here. And then, you know, as you get farther down, you can tell there's like some raglan increase shaping here to get increases for the rest of the sleeve, and so that it's not just, you know, it makes the sleeve, you know, what it's supposed to be, the sleeve shaping. And then after you split for the sleeves, it's just straight all the way down like you would a normal shirt. Knit the body, knit the ribbing, and there you go. I did shorten the length a little bit on mine for what the body length is supposed to be compared to in the pattern. I probably actually could have knit this a little bit longer. Length, as we all know, is very subjective. It's very much based on where the garment is going to fit you the best, how long you like it to be. I did find that when I blocked this, it grew a little bit more widthwise and it shrunk a little bit lengthwise. So I probably could have added another inch onto the body, but I was kind of ready to be done. I felt like I had had this on the needles for a really long time, so I'm fine with where it's at. When I wear my high-waisted pants, I can like tuck the front in a little bit or just have it, you know, hanging out, and it is a relatively good length, so I'm fine with it. I also shortened the length of the sleeves compared to how long they were supposed to be in the pattern. I'm really happy with this length. I think it looks good on me, and I don't know, I think if they had been a little bit longer, it just would have been, you know, a little bit more full coverage, so, which isn't really what I wanted. Overall, this yarn, so knitting with the Kelbourne Woolens Mojave, again, this is a 60% cotton, 40% linen yarn. When I first started knitting with it, I realized it is a little bit splitty, so that was something I had to keep in mind, but eventually I got used to working with it. It has a really soft hand feel, so I know a lot of times working with cotton, or especially working with like 100% linen, it's a lot rougher of a material compared to wool when you're working with it, and a lot of people don't like that knitting experience. For me, with this, I mean, you can definitely tell it's not as soft as working with 100% wool. I mean, going from this to working with my next project, I'm working with a 100% DK wool. I'll show you. It's like a night and day difference, the softness and just like the hand feel of those yarns, but the wearability of this Mojave with the cotton and linen blend is completely different, especially in the warmer months here, summer in Southern California. This is way more wearable than a 100% wool t-shirt would be. So I'm really happy with this. I will definitely be knitting more garments in this wool in the future. I really, really liked it. I did purchase 7 skeins of the Kelbourne Woolens Mojave. They are 185 yards per 50 grams. This is like a sport weight yarn. I ended up only using 5 full skeins, so I have 2 full skeins left over. So those will either be destashed or maybe someday I'll get more. I don't necessarily know if I need another garment in the exact same color, so we'll see what happens with those 2 skeins. But the other thing I wanted to mention is I did knit the full double folded collar that is recommended in the pattern, and after I folded it down, I did add in 2 strands of elastic. You can kind of see them poking out a little bit. One right at the bottom of the collar and one right at the top of the collar, just to bring it in more and have it sit closer to my neck. I have found that I really don't like the look of like gaping collars. It really makes me uncomfortable for some reason looking at myself in the mirror. So I like them to be a lot closer to my neck, and I really like the way this collar looks. I saw a lot of people on the project page on Ravelry only do a single collar, so like they did not do the folded over, and that looked nice as well. For some reason I was just like, if I'm gonna do this, like let's just go all the way, let's do the double fold. I think it's gonna look really nice, and yeah, I do really like the way that it looks. I probably could have gotten away with a single folded collar, especially putting elastic in, but I think this looks good. So I'm really pleased with it overall. I knit on this from May 24th to July 20th. So about 2 full months I was knitting on this. Obviously I had other projects going at the same time. I took a lot of breaks to work on my 2 designs that I've been working on this summer, so probably could have gotten it done a lot sooner if I was knitting on this monogamously, but that's just not the way things worked out. So that is my poppy tee, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm so glad I get to finally wear it. Okay, let's move on and talk about my 2 whips, and why don't we start with my stripe pipe sweater. Whoops. So this is my fully new cast on this week. This is the stripe pipe sweater by Veronika Lindberg. Lindberg? Is it an I? This is the stripe pipe sweater by Veronika Lindberg, and let me just first show you where I'm at with this. So I have made a lot of progress in 1 week. I have fully completed the back panel. It's already, I steam blocked this and it's already starting to roll back again. So I've fully completed the back panel. I have knit the front shoulders on both sides. Whoops. And I have joined the front shoulders, so I'm now knitting the full front panel back and forth. I am so obsessed with this project. It's the yarn, it's the stripes, it's like just, you know, get to the end of this stripe so I can start a new color. Like, it is flying and I'm so happy with it. Okay, let me show you the yarn that I'm using for this. So I'm using Dusty Yarn Co. in their classic DK weight base. So it's a 100% superwash merino wool, 246 yards per 100 grams. This is my main color. This is called Dry Heat, and it's a light blue. super nice. And all of these colors are from their Palm Springs collection, which is now closed, but that's what I'm using. So Dry Heat is my main color. My first contrast color is this pink, and this is called Bachelorette. My second contrast color is this dark blue that is called Reservation Only. It's almost like a teal, like a dark blue teal. It's really gorgeous. My third contrast color, so this is going to be at the bottom of the body, is this yellowy green that's called Vintage. And then the two colors that I got for the sleeve stripes, the first one is going to be this lovely brown called Mid-Century. And the second is my favorite green. This is called Top Shelf. This is the same color that I used for my tank top design, the Palm Springs tank, coming out next year. And so yeah, these are gonna be the sleeves. So I don't even know if I could hold all of these together. Let's see. And my pink. Okay, here's all the colors together. Don't they look so good? I am so excited for this. And, whoops. This is the yarn that I was talking about, like comparing it to the knitting feel, like comparing this, like 100% wool, superwash merino, DK weight yarn, compared to like the cotton and linen, like it's no comparison. This yarn is so soft and so squishy. I'm so obsessed with it. Like, I can't put it down, like, also just because of the feel of knitting this up with the yarn. So I am at a point where I can like try it on a little bit. It's not like super exciting, but here it is. It's like a mega drop shoulder sweater, and it's gonna have a lot of positive ease, which I think is gonna be kind of fun. Let me tell you the details. So I'm knitting the size extra large, which is meant to have a finished bust of 53.5 inches. So this is gonna have like 11 inches of positive ease on me if I actually meet that finished bust measurement. I'm knitting this on 4.5 millimeter needles for the body. The ribbing I will do 3.5 millimeter needles. And the pattern gauge is 20 stitches by 31 rows. I think I have 20 stitches. I haven't really measured my gauge yet. I didn't do a swatch. I just cast on. But I knit with, I feel like I knit with DK weight on 4.5 millimeter needles like pretty often. So, and I'm always kind of within that like 20 to 22 stitch gauge anyways, so I think it'll be fine. I'm not really worried about it. I mean, this has like a lot of wiggle room for ease, so to me swatching in that case like doesn't really matter. So yeah, this is my, see the back? Ooh. I purposefully picked this pink to be the top color closest to my face because I felt like this was one of the, there's actually a few soft summer colors in this palette. I feel like all three of these all four of these, this is like choking me a little bit. All four of these, the blue, green, and the pink, are definitely like my soft summer colors. So I picked the pink and the light blue to be closest to my face so that would like, you know, really make my face look nice. And then there is like a pop of color. Hold on, I gotta take this off. It's choking me. There is like a pop of color on the collar, like the very edge of the collar, and so I will probably do one of these two, again, so that there's something nice like right closest to my face. So yeah, and then I felt like, I know me reaching over to my desk every 5 seconds is not very nice, but when my chair gets here, we'll have a better system. But anyways, I felt like I needed the like yellow and orangey brown to like really complete the palette. So Yes, and they look really good. So, and Audrey has been so sweet. Every time I post about it and I tag Dusty Yarn Co., Audrey is like, oh my god, I love it so much, I'm gonna make my own, and it's just so fun. So there might be matching stripe hype sweaters out there someday. So, okay, that is my stripe hype. My goal for this week on this is to finish the front panel and join it in the round, and who knows, the whole body might just be done because I'm like fully obsessed with it right now, like I said multiple times. I'm like really into my 2 whips that I have on the needles. When my yarn gets here, I will need to cast on my second California sweater, but like I am just gung-ho on these 2 projects, so that's what's going on. And so, okay, let's move on and let me show you my second whip, which is my mini mock neck tank. Okay, so this is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs, and the yarn that I'm using for this is Red Door Fiber Studio, her classic sock base. It is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 462 yards per 100 grams, and the colorway is called Magic Mouth, which is from her D&D collection. It's this amazing pink. I love it so much. And let me show you where I'm at. You may be a little surprised, but here I am. Okay, so here is the story behind the mini mock neck tank. You may know some of this. I have talked about it multiple times on the podcast before, but I cast on the back panel when I was on a cruise back in March. It was our spring break cruise. My whole plan was to like see if I could knit this whole thing in a week. Well, I got the back panel finished. I took some measurements and I realized my gauge was very different from the designer's gauge and the gauge in the pattern. Like, the pattern gauge is supposed to be 24 stitches by 28 rows, and I was at 27 stitches by 38 rows, like literally 10 rows off the row gauge. And so I stopped and I was like, there's no way this is gonna fit. Like, I should have done some math to add some length to the back panel. I can't just do it now at the end because it's gonna mess up the underarm increases and yada yada. So I put this on hold at the end of March and picked it back up this week. And originally I was like, I'm just gonna recast on the whole project. I'm gonna do some math, figure out my gauge issues, figure out how many rows I need to knit, and go from there. Well, I picked it up this week and decided, you know what? Actually, like, I remeasured it and I was only off by like an inch instead of, I thought I was off by like 2.5 inches in the length of the back panel. And so I just decided to pick up and start knitting the front panel, and now I'm joined in the round. And I figured, you know, we're just gonna go with it. This armhole depth looks big enough, and this is supposed to have negative ease anyways. So I figured, let me just knit the front. Let's join it in the round. Let's get a few inches under the arm here, and then I will try it on and see if I'm, you know, at least okay with the fit of it. And so that's where we're at. I have not had a chance to try it on yet, although I do think I have enough under the arm here now. There we go. I do think I have enough under the arm here now that I could try this on and like make a decision on it. So I think if I have the guts to do that today, then I probably will. But I have really been enjoying working on this, especially after I got this joined in the round. I mean, it is like, you know, the body's gonna be like 100 rows of just plain stockinette knitting with fingering weight yarn. But this has been really excellent, just like TV knitting. I was in the car all day yesterday, so it was great car knitting. This is really good for reading and knitting. I know I mention this all the time when when I've just got plain stockinette in the round. But you can see like both of these projects, this and my stripe pipe, I've just been so excited to work on. So I've been switching off, at least this week, like one day I'll work on the stripe pipe, one day I'll work on the mini mock neck to get as far as I can. So yeah, that's where we're at. I will say just some details on this as well. I'm knitting the size extra large, the 5th size in the pattern. It's meant to fit a chest measurement of 44 inches. So the garment's full chest measurement will be 39.5 inches. This will give me about, if I was to meet those measurements, let's see, 4.5. This would give me like 2.5 inches of negative ease, I think. But this is going to be smaller than what is recommended. So I'm expecting more negative ease, which is fine because the sizing here recommends, yeah, like 4.5 inches of negative ease. So I could end up closer to that, and maybe it'll be a little bit more negative ease also. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see what it looks like when I try this on and what the measurements are. Obviously trying this on well, it's partially blocked, so the back panel is fully blocked. The front panel and the join and the round part is not blocked at all. So it'll be an interesting try on with like it being partially blocked, but I think it'll be okay. And I really like this color. This is also a nice soft summer color for me. It's maybe a little bit bright, but I think it's fine. And I'm kind of hoping I can finish this before flock and maybe wear it to flock. I have so many, at this point now, I have so many like spring and summer knits that I could wear to flock. It's just like super fun. I've got this if I finish it. I've got my tank top design I could wear. I've also got just like my Knit California t-shirt that I could wear, which would be really nice so people can be like, oh, Knit California, that's how I know you. Because you know when you go to flock or you go to any like fiber festival and you're like, I know your face, I know your Instagram, but I don't know your name. So I'm gonna need a little name tag that says Leslie, Knit California. So anyways, okay, that is my mini mock neck tank, and that's really everything that I have to share with you today. Let's see, I do have a little bit of an update in my what I've been reading and what I've been watching on TV, so we can talk a little bit about that. Okay, let's talk about reading first. I have finished the Abby Jimenez sort of series of Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. I really wanted to read Just for the Summer. I really loved the book cover and the title because we're in summer. And then I was like, well, it's one of those series where like each book is a standalone book. You can read it as a standalone book, but the characters overlap from each of the 3 books. And so if you read them in order, you get a little bit more information about who some of the side characters are in the other books. So I figured I like to have all of that information. Let me just start from the beginning. Part of Your World, 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved the concept of this book. Yours Truly, I gave 4 out of 5. It's not a spoiler, but there's like a fake dating trope in Yours Truly, and I think I'm just like fully over the fake dating. I just can't handle just like more and more pages of, you know, this is gonna end, he doesn't really love me, and then he's like, this is gonna end, she doesn't really love me, when both of them secretly love each other. It's like, just let's communicate here, okay? We both know what's gonna happen. I can't handle the pages of lamenting about this is going to end, he doesn't love me. Anyways, so, and that's just a me thing, that's a personal thing. The story was still really good and I really liked those characters. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. And then just for the summer I finished was also a 5 out of 5 for me. It was very cute. It was exactly what I needed in the middle of summer and I loved it. So I don't know why I had taken so long to read these books. Like, they're so good. If you like Emily Henry books, you will also love these books. So check them out if you're interested and need something new to read. In terms of TV, Love Island USA has ended, which is sad. I love my Love Island summer, but Big Brother has started. So now we are transitioning to a Big Brother summer. I love Big Brother so much. There's 3 episodes a week. I love the like competition game shows, reality shows, just because, I don't know, that's like more my speed. Love Island is fun. It's like something very different. And yes, they do their little competitions, but they're not voting people out. And it's like really sad when people get voted out. Whereas like Big Brother, there's like, you know, all the strategy and all the competitions that come along with it. So I'm excited for my Big Brother summer. And yeah, at this point, I think that's really all I've got for you. Oh, I need to address one more thing. The craft room video that I promised you last week, you will notice that it never came. And that's because I sat down to edit the craft room video and I realized that all of the clips that I had filmed on my camera were in slow motion and had no sound. And I almost cried because we spent so much time, you know, obviously making this craft room. And like, we did not make the craft room for a video. We made the craft room so that I could have my own personal space. But once the decision was made that there was going to be a craft room, I was like, I have to film this because people will want to see it. And just not having, look, the slow motion I can fix, that's easy. But not having the audio is really, really sad. So it's been half a week since I made that discovery. And I am going to try to still put the pieces together and do some sort of like voiceover video of the first part of making the craft room. So stay tuned, hold on for it a little bit longer. I don't know if it will come out this week or if it'll be a little bit later, but I needed to give you that update because I felt really bad and I felt really sad. I posted about it on Instagram and everyone's like, just speed up the clips. And I'm like, yeah, I know I can do that, but you're not understanding the depth of my sadness right now. Like, I need to mourn the thought that like I had this whole vision for this video and it is now ruined by my camera settings not being correct, and I didn't even realize it. And literally like days of filming, like this craft room video, we've been putting this together for, it was like over a week of like video clips. And like, how did I not realize that it was not on the correct video setting? Now I will always double check. So yeah, that's what's going on with the craft room video. And I'm still waiting for my armchair. So anyways, okay. I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really means the world to me. You can go follow me on Instagram over at Knit California, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!
Thank you.